Press Coffee, Ping. You know those brands if you live in Arizona. Today we sit down with two guests and we talk about running a business in Arizona, keeping a good culture, and working with family. I hope you enjoy.
Hi, I'm Andy Solheim, Executive Vice President of Ping.
And I'm Steve Kraus, and founder and owner of Press Coffee.
All right, so we've got two known brands here in Arizona. I mean, people that are, when they think Arizona, I think of both of you. Andy, how long have you been with Ping?
I started working summers when I was 14, so that was 1990.
I would have guessed 2000.
Yeah. I have that young look on me.
You do. You do. So a question I always ask anybody, or I'm curious, that works in the golf industry, what's your handicap?
I've been a 12 since high school. Right now, I'm probably about a 30, as bad as my game is. So I've had a transition in my physique the past year and a half, and I need to relearn how to play the game.
I can address that. I understand. Yes.
Oh, I used to play a lot of golf. And then I had twins in 2014, and press began to grow, and so my golf game went pretty bad. So I get to the point where I was probably playing 3 to 4 times a week, and now I'm lucky to play 8 times a year.
Okay. Well,
so,
that's
but
what
I still
kids
love
do.
the game, and still like it. They're still happy to go out and enjoy it. So
do you have a handicap? Or?
I do. I had a really low handicap, and I can't get it up now. So I'm still sitting at, I think it's like a 9.8. So
well, that's a dream for me.
Yeah, I don't play like a 9.8. Trust me, I'm upper 80s and sometimes 90s. So just depends. Yeah, I have enough swinging sauce, and the game gets a little better.
That's my handicap.
There you go.
Exactly. No. I mean, that's the thing about being an Arizonan is, everybody expects us to be out on the golf course, and it's like if you're from Scotland, you must be a scratch golfer. If you're from Arizona, you must be, a great golfer because you play in the sand. So it's a great equalizer. I love golf. I mean, I'm like a 18, 17 and a half. I got all the way down to a 15 a couple months ago, and then I hurt my back, and then I went back the other direction. So, but I just enjoy being out there, and I've kind of been opposite. My son and daughter are older. I've got a younger daughter, but she's she doesn't take as much time away from me as those two did. So now I get to play a couple times a week, 3 times a week. So that's helped me. But when kids are growing up, I mean, I can relate to that. So are your 14-year-olds, into sports or?
They're 12 now.
12, I'm sorry.
But yes, heavy flag football.
Oh.
Some volleyball, and I'm coaching 2 of the teams, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of satisfaction you get out of it. This is a great age. They're actually starting to absorb what you're talking to them about, and you can get a little bit mean. You can make them run ladders, and it's working. And the parents love me for it, and but they do occupy my time. And my weekends are covered, and my weeks are covered with practices. So
how old are? I mean, what, boys and girls? Or?
I have a boy and a girl.
Boy and a girl.
Yeah.
So girls flag football.
Yeah, it is. I knew it was popular. I didn't realize how popular it's gotten. And I think it's an incredible sport for the girls to be in, and really allows them to showcase, their agility and their skills, and it's good hand-eye coordination for them.
100%. An earlier episode of Lighter Shade of Brown, I talked about my dream is to, when I retire, is to coach flag football.
Oh, okay.
Like, I love flag football. I love it for these girls. I love it for the young boys. I feel like I made my son play 3 years before he could go on to tackle, because I feel it's a great way to learn the mechanics before you're worried about hitting.
Yeah.
And I just felt like it's just great. And yeah, the parents love me too, because we ran a lot of laps. We made a mistake, we ran. Those kids came home tired. And I think that's fun. But it's also, we've covered other things. I think it's a great when kids play sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you got to learn how to achieve a goal and the work that goes into that. And I think your coaching's, that's awesome. That's great. It says a lot about you.
Yeah, and when they learn to become a team and they start to see that their responsibility affects the other person's responsibilities, there's a lot of, I get a lot of satisfaction from it and seeing them grow. And they've had their fair share of up downs when they don't want to listen to me, and that's the benefit of where they're at in their age now. Like, I wouldn't do that to 5, 6, 7-year-olds, but now that they're all 11, 12, 13-year-olds, it's, the reality is set in.
Yeah.
Which is great.
It's game on.
Yeah.
Well, so you both have huge brands. Tell me what you're doing at Ping and what it's like to work there. I mean, Ping is synonymous with Arizona. I mean, it's synonymous with golf. It dates back, since 1959.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's huge. So I'm always intrigued with someone who's at upper level of such a monstrosity in the industry. Like you guys own it. You're the shit. Yeah.
So, like for us, we're not a marketing company. We're a engineering company. When you look at our staff and how many people we have in our marketing team versus our engineering team, I think it's like 3-to-1 engineers versus marketing. And so our focus has never really been necessarily about building this brand of Ping. It's about building the product for the consumer. And we have a mantra that we don't introduce new product unless it's better. And we've had product delays in the past because my dad said, no, this isn't better than the last one. We need to make it better. And so that's kind of our core value, is not to introduce something until it's better. And I think over 59, we're over 60 years now that we've been doing that. And that's just kind of helped. I'd say we probably have the loyalist consumer of anybody in the golf world.
I think that, my uncle had Pings when I was a kid, and I was always envious of it. So you guys have taken more of the Field of Dreams approach. You build it and they will come. Yeah. I mean, and I think that's a great way to build a business. It's based on the product, not the marketing. But you guys have been around since '59. That tells you how great of a product you put out there.
Yeah, thank you.
So you guys should be commended as a family.
Thank you.
So talk to us about press. Come on, that's huge.
Little coffee company here in the Valley. We started in 2008, kind of right when the recession hit. And we opened our first shop at City North, which was supposed to be this monstrosity of a sales center. And Macy's, Nordstrom's, Bloomie's was all supposed to be there. Unfortunately, because of that recession, it never came to fruition. So we were challenged right away. I was trying to build a brand. We're trying to build what we call specialty coffee. It's a higher graded Arabica coffee. And it's a term you hear a lot is Arabica. But there's a certain level, just like red wine. There's certain levels of red wine, and we wanted to be able to introduce a product to people that they could drink without having to put anything in it to make it taste better. And nothing against anybody that loves to do that. It's just I would prefer to have something that's more pure. And so we struggled in the beginning, and then my brand started to get a little bit of traction. A year into it, I started to roast our own coffee. That became really exciting, and I started to get some B2B accounts, and then Scottsdale Quarter approached me. I always have to share this story, though, is we actually signed a lease for Cityscape downtown, and the individual left there with Scottsdale Quarter and asked if I could get you out of lease of downtown, would you go to Scottsdale Quarter? And I said, well, are you going to make Scottsdale Quarter a thing? Is it going to happen? Because you can mind you, we're coming off the coattails of the recession. So she goes, no, actually, we just signed a lease with Apple. We signed a lease with Nike. I said, well, demographically, I prefer to be there, and geographically, I prefer to be there. So somehow she got me out of that lease. And I tell everybody this, and those that know me, that was the changing point for press. Had we kept in that lease downtown in Cityscape, I can without a doubt tell you I would have failed. Yeah, for sure. And so from that point on, we've just seen massive growth, and we're very proud to be a part of this community, and I get to meet great people all the time. So
I forgot to ask both of you. So what is your morning drink of choice? And I'm really intrigued with you being in the coffee industry, what you drink.
I drink black coffee.
Just black.
I make myself black coffee every single morning.
All right.
Yeah, rarely will I drink a milk-based drink, but I love the black coffee.
Did you put anything in it? Nothing? No creamer? No nothing?
Zero.
Wow. Okay.
It's that good.
You know what? I trust you.
No, I'm the same. If it's warmer weather outside, I go cold brew. If it's colder weather out, I just do black coffee. There was a morning when we lived across the street from each other. I had a Starbucks in my hand, and he pulls up and he goes like, "What are you drinking that crap for?" I'm like, "What do you mean? It's the only thing I can stand that has coffee and caffeine in it. I just can't stand the flavor." He was like Yoda to me. He took me under his wing and taught me. And now it's like I'll do like an iced mocha or something, but my go-to 99% of the time is pure black coffee or cold brew.
Well, I'm kind of moving in that direction. Like I hard to believe, but in college, law school, did not like coffee, tea, didn't drink any of them. and then I become a lawyer, and then the paralegals hook you in Starbucks. You know, the paralegals like, hey, we're going to Starbucks. You know, why don't you get something? And then I used to drink like a mocha.
Sure.
But, you know, the milk-based stuff hurts my stomach now, and I've gotten more and more to just a coffee with a little bit of cream and a couple of sugars in a raw. You know, it's kind of what I really tend to go to now. Whereas I used to have like triple espressos and all this stuff. But I don't, just somewhere in the last like 3 or 4 months, maybe I've become more sophisticated in my palate. But I'm intrigued that, I mean, if you could drink it just black, I mean, I'm intrigued to try it.
You can drink good coffee black. You don't want to drink a Starbucks black.
100%.
Yeah.
And there's a difference. And you know, so when me and my wife appreciate a good coffee. Mm-hmm. And when I think the best coffee we've ever had has always come from the Four Seasons. So, you know, anytime we're on vacation, the first thing we do, if we stay at a Four Seasons, you know, every now and then we do, if I get enough points in my Amex to cover it, that's where we stay. You know, we'll bring our daughter. So they almost know us. Like that first night, my daughter gets cookies and milk, and my wife, no matter what time we arrive, it could be midnight, she's ordering a pot of their coffee, and we're drinking coffee. Wow. You know, because she likes it that much, and just a good cup. I mean, I'm a member at Mesa, and one of the things I'm working on is getting us out of our coffee contract and into something new. Because I don't appreciate the coffee that we have, and I feel like, you know what, you just need a good cup. I mean,
now you know a guy.
Yeah, I do. Actually, we're going to talk. I think when this is done, I'm going to definitely introduce you to the guy.
Happy to help out.
Yeah, I'm excited. So you guys know each other.
Mm-hmm. I moved in the same neighborhood as Andy. We lived across the street from each other, and it's always a funny story because I'm a huge Ohio State fan.
Oh, sorry.
And he had on his plates at the time, OSU fan. So I walk over, I introduce myself. You must be a big Buckeye fan. He's like, no, actually it's Oklahoma State. And so I'm like, no big deal. And I said, so, you know, what do you do? He's like, I'm in the coffee industry. And I didn't connect the dots right away.
Oh.
And because, you know, the name is synonymous to me now.
Yeah.
But to most people, Solheim doesn't connect the dots with Ping. And so for me, it took, I don't know, it was like a minute or so. I'm like, oh, now I know what you do.
Yeah.
I get it. And so then I went into my spiel because I grew up playing Ping. My dad was a Ping player. And I didn't play a lot of golf until I got in my 20s. But, you know, I would show him, I'm like, hey, look, my dad still got his original 3-wood from the 1970s, which I still have.
Nice.
And so it was a great relationship to have with Andy and living across the street. And then he moved, but we've stayed friends ever since. So that was 2010, I believe. Mm-hmm. And our families get together often, and his kids are growing up quickly. I mean, his youngest, 17, just it boggles my mind because she was 2 when I met her. And he's been around since my kids were born in 2014. So it's a pretty good history.
We mountain biked a lot when Tram was pregnant. And I remember he asked me, you got any advice for me? And I go, you're not going to believe me, but get to sleep while you can. And he looks at me, he goes, I get it. He goes, I started my own business. I know what it's like to work late nights and not get a lot of sleep. I'm like, I hear you say that. You don't get it.
Yeah.
And babies were born, and like 3 months later, we're on the mountain bikes again. He looks at me and goes, you were right. I didn't get it. But you can function.
Yeah.
So,
yep. That was the key.
That was crazy.
Much like when you were in school.
Yeah.
100%.
You learn how to function, and not everybody can do it. But if you're driven enough to become successful, then I think anybody can persevere through any kind of lack of sleep.
I think so. I mean, it's possible. I went through law school, probably averaged during those 3 years, maybe 4 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, we didn't come from a family of means, so I had to work full time and go to school full time. And I was in the DC area, and I would leave my house at 6 a.m. To get to work by 8. I was an insurance adjuster. And then I'd go from there to class that didn't end until 10. And then I had an hour and a half drive to get home, and on the freeway. And I had to read all my homework on the weekend. Mm-hmm. So I would, and I am a slow reader. I'm not that smart. I mean, and it took me forever. I would read 1,000 pages in a weekend. And I did all that with a 4-month-old. So I understand the lack of sleep and all that fun stuff. But it's who we are. It makes us better. Mm-hmm. I love, I wouldn't give up anything for kids and those lack of sleep. there's nothing better when I look forward. I mean, now my son's 27, he just got married, and I'm looking forward to grandkids.
Yep.
And I think back to when he was a little baby and he cried, and you know what? I was kind of the one he always kind of wanted. And I love that, and I love the fact that, I was tired, but I would still the one that could put him back to sleep in like 2 minutes. And that's always been something that, I'm proud of, I should say.
As you should be.
Yeah, so that I think it's amazing, but you're right, no sleep. Best years of my life, though. We had no sleep, for sure. So you've pressed coffee. How many locations you got now?
We're
I'm
19
curious.
locations.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's been a pretty long road. It's been 18 years now, and we've had great success. And I always attribute that to the people that have worked for me, that have been on my team. There's only so much I can do, and I will identify where my shortfalls are at always. And so the great news about identifying your shortfalls is I'm even better at finding the people that can do where I lack.
100%.
And I've got 2 partners in the business. One of them has been with me since 2010. The other one here is a native to Arizona, and they bring to the table things that I'm never going to bring to the table. They're both a little bit more driven. They're a little bit more articulate than I am. And they have just great focus. And then from there down, I'm just lucky that we've had the right people come in that have had enough drive to create a culture that we have at Press now that is incredible. And a lot of people don't really understand what that word means. I know Andy does because they've had employees for 20 plus, 30 plus years.
Yeah.
I've got employees. I've got one that's 10. I've got one that's 11. I mean, to be in the coffee business and to be in that long and to have people take that much pride in what you're doing is allowed for us to grow and grow at a steady pace. And everyone's like, oh my God, 19. I'm like, well, it's 18 years, 19 stores, and some easier than others and some harder than others. But if you get the right people in place and you create the right culture, I think anything can happen. So.
Yeah. Andy, you obviously have to have great culture too.
We do.
Yeah.
It's we have, I would say, a family culture. We look at our employees as family, and we have boards on the wall in the different departments with tenures and stuff. And there's pictures of people who've been with us over 40 years.
Wow.
For a long time, we had, I think it was over 50% of our workforce had been with us over 20 years. When COVID hit back in 2020, the spike in people playing golf, we hired a lot in the past 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. So that percentage has shifted, but we still have a significant portion. We've got second, third generation families working within the business that aren't this part of our family.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing. I mean,
that's cool.
How do you foster that? I mean, I'm always intrigued with both of you guys have culture. I'm going to come back to and ask you the same question. How do you foster your culture to keep people along those lines and that long?
I think it's just treating them like family, giving them the respect they deserve. We deal with a lot of the immigrant community coming in. We've got a very large Vietnamese population in our workforce. They've been great because we have an employee referral program, and we had a couple Vietnamese that really embraced that and got a lot of their friends and stuff to join us, and they're great. That's and awesome. So it's ultimately we do profit sharing, we do bonuses, and so we let everybody share in the success. And so it's a very loyal workforce.
Makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything you can add on to that over at Press?
Well, we don't profit share and we don't share, but we do some bonuses. We're a different outfit. You know, we generally will employ folks that are out of high school or currently in high school. In fact, we just had 5 kids. They're leaving this summer to get ready to go to school. They work for us in high school. Okay. So we're not scared to hire younger people.
Yeah.
And then the majority of them though are generally those that want to be in the workforce, that are in college and they're looking for that job. But we make our environments inviting. We do really, really good at training, and we've got processes and operating procedures that I think develop somebody into a better adult as they're growing through that world. And so we take a lot of pride in that, in the environment that they work in. And I've seen that change dramatically over the past 10 years. I mean, before I'd hire you, I'm like, hey, there's a register, go get it.
Yeah.
And I'll teach you how to make a coffee.
Yeah.
But they go through an orientation now, and they go through a training process. And then when they get to the store, their first day isn't as uncomfortable as it used to be. Mm-hmm. And so we're really lucky to have a hiring group that oversees that. And I think that's what's kept us on the forefront of hiring the right people. And we do exit interviews every time. We'd have them fill out a quick survey, tell us this, that, and the other about the company. So we're constantly trying to coach ourselves, constantly trying to make press better. And that's what we pride ourselves on. We will, much like Ping, is we only want to do things that are going to make press better, and not to waste our time, not to invest in things that don't make us better.
Yeah.
So I think that's why we've kind of been on the forefront, especially the last 10 years. It's been great.
It's interesting to see the two different dynamics, obviously two different organizations with different goals, but obviously everybody's trying to do the same thing. Everybody wants to create culture. We're doing the same thing here. What do we do? How do we create it? I just had a meeting with all the paralegals before I walked into here, and we talked about, maybe we're not the right law firm for every client, and that's okay. Some clients just want a quick buck, and we like to build cases. We want to make sure we get the most money available for the client. And it's not in a rec, get a check here. It's not what we do. We put out a quality product with a quality demand, and we fight hard for the clients. And sometimes that takes a little bit longer. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes we can do it quickly. But we've got to do things the right way, always the right way. The same time, and same thing. I'm a big on processes. Hey, we have a process. This is the ALG way. This is how we do it. Doesn't mean it can't be changed. Doesn't mean we won't change it. Doesn't mean I don't change it as we evolve. But trying to do that and stay within the program keeps the cases on track, and it keeps the clients happy. At least that's my expectation. But sometimes can't make everybody happy. Not everybody wants to swing a ping. I have a ping wedge, but I don't have a ping driver. Although the truth is,
fit. We'll put up ours against anybody's.
You can put up anything you want. I can't hit a freaking driver.
Well, that we might not be able to help.
I don't know if you can help me.
Our fitters are pretty good at giving you swing tips.
The problem is between my ears.
Yeah.
I think it's not.
That's the game of golf.
Yeah, it's not anything about the product. I could spend all the money in the world. I could have the best thing in my hands, and I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, but we'll still blame the clubs.
100%.
Yeah.
Listen,
it's never the person.
It could not be. As all strong business leaders know, we're not the problem. Yeah, it could be us. Yeah. But that actually does circle back to what you said. It's great about the fact that you have evolved what you've done from the beginning to the end, and that's something I'm always looking at. Today, we've done something new here at ALG. We brought on a CFO. I want someone to look at our processes and say, what can we do better? How can we do better? When you're in that, you've got a couple partners, you've got your brother, you've got other people to bounce those ideas off of. And I don't necessarily have that. So I need someone to do that because I want to do that here so we can grow better. But tell me what it's like to work with your brother. Me and my brother would probably beat the shit out of each other.
Well, we did. When we were kids, we did.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you gain a respect over time. And to me, as a family business, you've got to be able to separate that your brothers versus your, we'll call it coworkers. I don't look at him as a boss. I look at him as a leader. And he's earned that spot, and you respect it. And we'll have challenges and stuff about directions to go and stuff. But ultimately, he hears me out. And if he makes the decision, it's my role to support that decision, whether I agree with it or not.
Yeah.
He's the leader. And so moving forward, then you leave work and you go home and you hang out at Christmas time. It's a different relationship than when you're at the office. And to have that separation and know it, makes life easier.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I couldn't imagine, working with my brother. But me and my brother are both kind of strong-headed. But we have grown to that.
Yeah.
When I was younger,
I would have said the same thing.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Now
I enjoy it.
Yeah. Perfect.
So we've got. In my generation, I think we've got at least 9 of us that are working. Kind of 3 of us are kind of my brother, my cousin, Stacy, and myself are kind of the leadership aspect of the 3rd generation. And then we've got 4th generation with working with us too now. So
that's awesome.
It's cool.
That's amazing. And it's great to see that the business has gotten stronger. It's not all businesses can survive new generations?
No, I think it's like a 90% fail rate by the third generation.
Yeah.
But once you get past the third generation, it's a very, very, very strong survival rate. And so there's actually a family business organization that you've got to be a family business for 200 years to be a member of.
Oh, wow.
And so my uncle will talk about the goal of being part of that. Obviously, none of us are going to see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of and Karsten and Louise set it up that way. It is to maintain it as a family business. And so that's our focus. Nobody ever talks about selling it. It's how do we maintain a family and make it valuable to the family and the future generations.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now you have partners at Press. You just spoke about that a little while ago. How does that work? Not everybody does well with partners.
Yeah, when you're solo to begin with, those first 5 years are incredibly difficult. I faced challenges that I never thought I would face. And Alex was the guy that just worked for me the longest. He was a younger guy. He was an introvert, but he was unbelievably smart and knew how to tackle certain things. And as he integrated into being what I call the general manager, I would call him the COO now, but he helped guide those things. And as I got to somewhat of a success point where Scottsdale Quarter opened up, we had a location in the airport that was being run by somebody else. My now partner, Jason, came along in late 2015, and I wasn't sure how to approach it. Because a lot of people come to me like, hey, I'll give you $1 million, we can do this. I'm like, I just didn't know what to do with $1 million. Like,
yeah.
I can just go open another store, but that really wasn't what the direction was going to be. I was more into I want to be B2B, but I needed the stores. I need the retail stores. They're my soldiers.
Gotcha.
They create the brand, the relevance in who you are, because we weren't going to be advertising on TV. We weren't going to be on billboards, et cetera. Those are where your brand recognition starts to come in, and then your B2B business. There have been challenges between both of my partners where we have butt heads. And I didn't see it one way and he didn't see it one way. And there's been some butting of heads, but and then there's that stubbornness that comes into play. Like, you don't know what it was like for the first 8 years here. I'll play that out in my head. But I also understand that at the end of the day, we're all in this to succeed, and we have each other's backs. Mm-hmm. And no matter what happens, I know that my one partner he's doing what's for the best interest of the company. My other partner's the same way, and I'm lucky to have those people in my life. But who's to say, if you're in a relationship or your business partner and you're getting along the whole time, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something's absolutely wrong because you don't have the right partner.
Yeah.
It's like being married to somebody you never get in an argument with or a fight with. You're in the wrong relationship, period. There has to be some sort of disagreements at times to create a stronger bond, whether it's love or a relationship or business, whatever it may be. It's absolutely imperative that those things happen, because that gives you better insight on what's going on. You bring in a CFO, and as you continue to grow this culture, you're going to see things you've never seen before. I brought in a controller 2 years ago that I don't have a CFO, but I have a fractional CFO, and they see our books completely different than we ever did. And now it's getting cleaned up. You're seeing that insight from your business now. It's like, all right, I know what I'm good at, but I'm certainly probably not great on the economic side. I need somebody to come in and help focus in on that. So yeah, it's great having business partners. I will not be where I'm at today without both of them. I can guarantee you that. Would I have grown? Sure. To be as good as we are right now, not without them and not without the team that I have.
Awesome. Well, first of all, congratulations. I mean,
thank you.
I started with business partners and then went away from it, and now I've brought in a couple of people. But it's important to start, and you've got a goal. And you said something earlier that was key, is having the right business partners. And you said they both work harder than me, and having that respect for them, I think, is probably what helps you guys. That was where we lacked at ALG when we first go. I felt like I was the only guy putting in 60 hours a week, and that's always hard. And then resentment builds, and then you end up going a different direction.
You're 100% right on that one.
I've got a head litigator now that he's here as much as I am, and he's a partner now, and we've brought him on. And I just, my CFO, he beats me here, and he the last couple of days he left after me, and he's only been here a week. So I'm like, you know what? I already have that respect, and he's already seeing things that I didn't see, that we have blind sides for. So I think it's great, but putting the right people in the right places is always key. And that's where I think being good leaders.
Yeah.
You talk about your brother being a great leader. You've been a great leader. You're a coach. I think coaching is across the board. If you can coach kids, you can coach coworkers. And I think being able to do that helps grow your business.
Now, back to what Steve said about knowing your weaknesses. To me, embracing that and filling in around you can your weaknesses become your greatest strength.
Yep.
By building that team around you to have all those key aspects that you need.
100%. Yeah, speaking of teams, so you said you're Ohio State, huh?
I am.
Sorry, I hate Ohio State. Sorry.
As long as you're not Michigan, we're in good shape.
Yeah, no, you ruined my senior year. I went to ASU, graduated in '97.
Oh, you're one of those
the
guys.
Rose Bowl. I mean, that was my senior year. That was our chance at a national championship.
I was at that Rose Bowl.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh.
And our travel agent made us a flight that we had to leave the game early.
Oh my gosh.
And my dad had one of these little Sony Watchmans, I think is what they were called. The screen was like 3 inches long.
Oh, yes.
Big. And we're running out to the car that's parked on the golf course outside the Rose Bowl. We're stopping at every play and heartbroken at the airport.
Oh, I was, I understand. I had to stay here. My boss, I was a senior and I worked security at ASU. So my boss went to the Rose Bowl. So I was here for the Fiesta Bowl. And I was the same thing. I was ducking in the tents left and right watching the end. I watched that catch at the end that just broke my heart. And I was like, this is a chance for us to get our first national championship, or at least a part of it. Exactly. That was my thought process. So, well, I just want to say I really appreciate your guys' insight.
Absolutely.
Everything you've brought and helped to the lighter shade of brown. But I think people are going to learn from this episode because there's different businesses, different models, but you both have a lot of similarities. And I think that that's important. And that's really what I've kind of want the show to be about is how do we grow as people, as businessmen, and as leaders. And it sounds like you guys are doing both of those. So I thank you very much for coming and being on the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us. I appreciate it. It's awesome.